Hello, we're live. It's a hot day here. I don't know whether it is for you. Definitely summer here in the UK. It's obviously not as hot as it is for so much of the world, but gosh, it makes things so much harder. You just want to go to sleep during the afternoons. The siesta could beckon. But anyway, here we are for a live fold. Thank you for joining. I am still a bit unsure what I'm doing next week, actually. Hello, Eric. Oh, good. Your fingers are good. Maybe this is. Well, it's great to hear. The temperature can be good for people as well. Maybe it's good for things like your fingers. That's fantastic to hear. I was due to see parents later this week. We're going to have to postpone. The children with bugs picked up at school. Doesn't seem to be COVID, but hey, all of us wanting to be super careful. Life is just so much more complicated at the moment, isn't it? I find that plans can very easily fall through, but in efforts to keep people as safe as possible. So we're just resting up for a bit. So I don't know whether I'm here next Wednesday or not. Maybe if in some way, if I indicate with the title for this and I can modify it a bit closer to the time, whether there'll be one next week or not, or I may just take a break. Don't know. Oh yes, this is an absolute classic, this Sonobe. Although it was wonderful to hear actually somebody who joined me recently who is an absolute origami veteran suggested, hello Stephen, that she hadn't actually done this before. So but I was particularly keen to bring this along. Obviously, this is what got me into modular origami, and it's so well loved. Please feel free to correct me, anybody. But from what I understand, it's not quite clear who invented this. Again, please do correct me. Oh, that's a good idea, Eric. Maybe I should just rest up anyway. Yeah, I'm feeling the need. It's a little bit of a strange time, isn't it? So the more we look after ourselves. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Penny. But this is always so lovely. So if I am around, there is definitely potential. I will keep you posted. So from what I understand, but please do correct me, as I'm sure any of you probably will know a lot more than me, that it's not quite clear who invented the Sonobe module. And from what I understand, that it was first kind of I guess written about or diagrammed would be back in the late 60s. So, but I mean, it's just such an incredible unit that has inspired so many people that it's possible to build incredible things through this. So it just depends how many you make as to what you make. So I rather love 3. It's an interesting shape. So I've been keen to bring this along because it's the sort of start of summer holidays. So I'm thinking of families that it may be a struggle over this time, less opportunities for those holidays that we've all been hoping for, and who knows. So this is always a brilliant project, I think, for school summer holidays. So I hope you will give it a go. So it depends how many units you make. So just to show you, I'm sure, of course, many of you will have done this, but for many of you, it will be new, and that's really exciting. So I hope it will blow your mind, as it does, I think, everybody who does this. So 3 little units, and you end up with this very interesting shape. I rather like that. It's just 3. Of course, 6 makes a cube. These are various little variations, so everyone just gets experimenting with an idea, then you just start wanting to play around with it. Oh, brilliant. That's really nice. That's really nice, Eric. So Eric's saying about giving neighbours, grandchildren some origami paper. Good idea. And actually, we're focusing quite a bit on children at the moment because it's been such a hard time. And I think encouraging, obviously getting offline, although this is, of course, using online. So I guess it's using online to get creative with what you can do with your own hands as well. And it's fine. All these things work together. It's actually how we can safely learn from each other. So that's 6 units to make a cube. 12 makes this shape. Which is beginning to look a little bit more like a virus as well, which is great. Beautiful ball, isn't it? I happen to have some nice little, they're not Post-its, they're kind of little squares that you can kind of write on, but all sorts of colours. I think it was from Paper Chase. So I've really enjoyed using these blocks of colours. They work nicely together. So that was 12. And then, of course, this is the 30, so the icosahedron, and I think this is the strongest, the most beautiful structure of all, really. It's very solid. So if you can see, it's made of pentagons. Every side is the pentagon. 12 pentagons makes a ball. Pentagons curve, I only learned this through doing, whereas hexagons are flat. So if you want to make a ball bigger, you can't make more pentagons because 12 is a ball. So the way that you can make it bigger is to add hexagons in between. So if you want to make a bigger one, for anybody who's prepared to go that bit bigger, I have to say it starts almost collapsing in on itself. Something like a Bichetta star is stronger really to allow that. But yeah. So here, can you see the pentagon? And then in between hexagon, which looks quite flat. So, or you can do big sheets of the hexagon. So it just depends. But you have to, I think what you need to do is get your eye in for patterns. Oh, fantastic. Ooh, that's a good idea. Well, I like the idea of using scrap paper, like things that you've done and things that you've been on and making them into balls. Maybe try and do a huge one. Who knows? Or a really tiny one. And once you get into the unit, you might start experimenting. This is me experimenting. I'm sure others will have found these things too, but this is quite a nice little elegant structure. If you've got two-sided paper, then you can start enjoying the patterns of it. And here I started trying to add holes. I got to the point where I was making the holes bigger and bigger. Of course, it just falls apart, which is a little bit, again, like viruses, that they're unstable when they get if you push them too much too. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know if I like this one as much, and I think it's the holes. You can feel the instability. There's less balance, whereas something like this is obviously lovely and balanced. It's just very neat. I think I can pick up whether it feels a happy little structure or not. This feels much happier to me. Anyway, so yeah, let's get making. I think we will probably make a cube, but it's the principle. So if we make 6 little units, and if you go on and you make 12 or ideally 30, then you can make this lovely shape. And I'll just give you a feel for it. So this is how I learned. A friend of mine actually gave me this book, which I really love. It came from, I think it was W.H. Smith. Oh, excellent, Karen. Yeah, it's brilliant. Really nice book. I've really enjoyed it. And actually, it's photographs of the steps. I find that a lot easier to follow for myself. Anyway, I remember this was the thing I was building up to, was making the big ball. Hello. And the instructions for how to make it just did my head in. I just could not get it. And it was only, hello, that's okay. We haven't started. I'm just chatting away, Marnie. It was only once I got the idea of patterns that to make that bigger ball, this big one, which is what I made over here, you're simply aiming for a pentagon with a hexagon in between. Then it all works. That's all you need to know. You don't need to read a big manual about it. Otherwise, well, it didn't go into my head. I need to understand it in terms of just patterns, and it's simple. So, but how to make the little unit. And you can see everything's based around triangles, which actually you see in nature. I've been enjoying spending time. Botanic Garden here in Oxford, so beautiful. Lots of seeds and flowers, of course, are based on either 3s or 5s, which is the same symmetries here. They're very beautiful, these prime numbers. And I guess they can't easily be divided, which makes them much stronger too. Fascinating. Oh, do you know that one as well, Eric? Yeah, I've really liked it. It's quite simple, but as I said, the photos work really well for me. We all have different ways of learning. I'm just using some paper that I have been printing out for something else, so I thought I'd try that. Okay, right. Grab a board. Yeah. So I hope, Karen, you don't mind doing something that you've already done. And I know from so many of you, you have done this already. And that's fine. Right. So what we need to do is just make squares of equal sizes. What am I going to do? Actually, I am going to, so if you had, for example, a 4 piece of paper, you could make 2 squares or a big square and split it into 4. This is what I'm doing anyway. I'm just using up some paper, basically. Oh, excellent. Oh. Thank you, Marnie. I can get rid of that strip. That's going to be interesting to do. So what you need to do is basically make equal size squares. It's up to you what size you want to make them. I think I'm going to do 6 to make a nice little cube. Why not? It's good building block to start from. It's probably the most conventional out of the lot, isn't it? A square, a cube. Whereas the triangle is quite an interesting one, which is just 3 pieces. And then obviously 12, you're getting to this shape. I don't always know the names, but I do know my icosahedrons because that's very much what viruses are often based on to stable, strong structures, but surprisingly beautiful. So I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, so I'm afraid I'm not quite sure my whereabouts. I will definitely be taking at least a couple of sessions off to actually have a break, hopefully to see family. I have been so looking forward to seeing family later this week, but we're going to have to postpone because of, thankfully it doesn't seem to be COVID, but you can't be too careful. It's definitely a virus of some sort, a cold probably in schools. None of the COVID symptoms, but even so, anything at the moment feels worrying, doesn't it? And I certainly don't want to bring that to others. So folding this in half, and I'm going to make 4 little squares from this. Here we go. Game. So if you just make yourself 6 matching squares, whatever size you like. Good, that's brilliant, Hermione. So that was the icosahedron, one of these ones you were making, presumably. I mean, this is such a lovely structure, isn't it? It really is beautiful. It's nice if you've got coloured papers, but I thought I'd try. I've been running some sessions in the school recently for the Royal College of Pathologists, and actually you might see there's a little bit of a drawing of origami diagram there, which is of David Petty's Beating Heart, which I absolutely love. And thanks to the British Origami Society supporting that one. So I've been learning about the heart while encouraging colouring in of cells, learning about how the heart works, what can go wrong, and then folding it at the end, which just brings that transformation and a lot of fun. Oh, hello, Melvin. Welcome. Lovely to have you here as well. I'm going to remove off this strip. I wonder if this is new to any of you. Probably not, but it has to be done. And I think that's something that's lovely about origami, isn't it? That you can have done something many times and it still doesn't mean it's any less wonderful and enjoyable. So I think the repetition is part of it often, isn't it? A very thin strip now. Obviously, you can cut, you can guillotine, but I've tried to keep it as accessible as possible by tearing, and I've ended up rather enjoying that aspect, actually. Truly simple. Or maybe you could write poems. I don't know, Eric, whether you've used any of your calligraphy to fold up. That would be really cool. There we go. I'm just going to do 6, I think. That'll be a good size, though. Exactly. I think that's the way to go. Because this is just getting you started on a project rather than completing everything. So hopefully you might have 6 pieces of paper. And what to do with them. I'm curious. So I've learned from this book how to fold it, but I bet there are other ways of folding to end up with the same unit, but there's probably many ways to do it. Oh, wow. Oh, that does sound brilliant. I'd love to see your work. I will look forward to one day that being possible, I'm sure, Eric. So we're going to fold this in half. Here we go. So it's, just starting school holidays at the moment. So it's a time for everyone just to, particularly families, just to stop and pause and maybe to isolate. Thankfully, not in our case, but even so, just to stop for a little bit. So I've done a halfway line and we're going to take the outside and bring it to the middle. Make that little cupboard. I'm even thinking of giving myself a little bit of a break because I've been trying to invent lots of, discover, I'm sure many of them will have been found by others, but my own origami, so I can pass it on. But even with that, I feel like I need to just have a break, not to feel that I have to achieve. Yes, well, good for you, Eric. I understand that. Oh, which way up to show the colour? I think as I'm doing, sorry, Penny only just spotted that. I think as I'm doing from the white side halfway and then folding in, I think, So there we go. And that's the interesting bit, because I have to decide whether I'm folding into the camera as my right way round or to my eyes. Anyway, I'm going to turn it around so I can see it, because otherwise I will get very confused. Right, then I can see. So if you keep one side folded in and the other I've opened up, and I'm going to take that corner and fold it to this line, like so. There we go. So hopefully you've done that. This is kind of interesting, a diagram of origami onto the thing. Maybe that would be quite cool, actually, wouldn't it, to do your own drawing of how to fold the Sonobi and then fold that all up into a Sonobi. So we're going to, yeah, exactly. Just consistent. You're absolutely right, Karen. Consistency, otherwise you'll get yourself in a twist. So this side, and I'm going to now fold the other one in so that it meets. Again, I'm curious whether everybody folds it this way or not, because again, I'm just doing it as I have learnt it. But I might actually get folding the others to the same point. I tend to find a batch approach is better for me anyway. So again, I'm going to go to the next one. So I'm going to do 6. I don't know if you'd like to join me with 6. So folding in half, and as others have said, maybe this is just beginning with the components and you can do more with time. So fold it in half and bring the outside to the middle. Again, I think there's something very meditative about the modular, because the repetition becomes really quite lovely. You start to sort of get familiar with what you're doing. So I've got a little cupboard, and I'm opening up just one side and just keeping it consistent which side. And then I'm going to take this corner and fold it down in a straight line, like so. Good thing is a paper, you can always reposition. Definitely trickier into camera. There we go. And I'm going to take then the other side as it is and fold it down to line up. And I'm going to go on to the next piece of paper and we'll come back to these. So I'm doing this batch approach. Next one, I'll turn it to my plain side underneath. There we go. I'm folding it in half, opening it up, taking the outside to the middle. It's nice seeing writing, or whether you could take poems and fold them up and then see what new poems emerge this way. Maybe that's something else that could be nice. So many possibilities. And it becomes very unique once you've got something like writing on it. So opening up just one side, taking this corner and folding it to this line. Hopefully by doing this over again, you'll have caught it at one point what to do. And for many of you, this is very familiar, but enjoy that feeling. Yeah. Lovely. And then also the other thing you can do is, if it's very familiar, you can start experimenting, seeing what else you could do with it. Because, yeah, I've enjoyed slightly mutating it and seeing what still works and what doesn't. You'll find yourself what can work and what doesn't. Outside to the middle. Wow, I don't know about you, but it's so hot here. The afternoon, so I'm not really wanting to do much but stay in, even though I've been looking forward to the summer because it's just so hot out there. Okay, holding that one side in, opening it, and bringing that down in a straight line. And then the other side, folding it down. That's it. Oh, yes, exactly. Bit of mutation. It is. It's the whole variant idea, which is the whole evolution. It's about starting with something that works and then experimenting with folds. And we are the product of that, believe it or not, outside to the middle. So I think there is something very, very deep about origami. So much is possible from folding. Feels like it very much touches on nature. In many ways. Opening it up. And this side. I don't know whether anyone's gone beyond the 90-piece one for Sonobe. I think I found that I had to really go up to Vachetta style to get something that was tougher to be able to do something larger. Otherwise it tends to collapse really. The 30-piece one's the best really. One more, turning it to the plain side, folding it in half. Like so. Yeah, exactly. Keep drinking water. Outside to the middle. Yeah, we live somewhere that's quite nice and warm and cosy in the winter, which is, to be honest, most of the year. In summer, it's definitely quite warm. And most of the year being cosy is rather nice. Again, opening up the side in that corner, folding down like so. I'll then take this side, fold it down. Right, let's go on to the next steps. I've taken you through those early steps 6 times. So next, fold it inwards, like so. So it was that corner, and I just folded it in. Now, I always say, remember parallelogram. That's what you're aiming for. So I'm going to take a corner and bring it up here and think of a parallelogram. If it looks like a triangle, you're doing it the wrong way around. You need to pick up the other corner. So that's how I remember it. Parallelogram. It's looking rather nice. Opening it up, I always like to think of a little tongue. Oh, so do I. Repetition is really nice. So there's a little tongue, and what I want you to do is pick it up and tuck it away. So you're not adding any extra folds, but you are using that line and get rid of it. That tongue will cause mischief if you don't. Excellent. Yeah. And our next step is to take this corner, and we're going to have to curve it around and tuck it underneath there. So we're going to tuck it underneath. Again, I'll be doing this 6 times, so you'll certainly get that. And I was doing a live session the other day, starting off our new project, collaboration with our library. Where people from around the world are saying, reminds me of a little pastry, this. I just love it. It looks so friendly and nice. Someone said it looks like baklava, which I think is true, really. Nice little neat shape. So I do like it with the writing. So I'm going to again close this in. Exactly. Nice to make a stack of them and use them as a kit. Oh, brilliant idea. Yeah, and actually when I did the very big Vachetta style, maybe it's 270 pieces. Let me just grab it, show you for a second. There, it took me around a week, but I mean a lot of folding. And I just took pieces of paper with me on the train, little boxes, and I do it in really neat little tidy packets. It was so satisfying. Yeah, but it was definitely a batch approach. So here it's a pentagon with 2 hexagons in between, and that's how it works. But it's very strong units, so you can go quite big. Presume you can go much bigger still. Amazing. It's kind of like folding it the other way, but it all comes down to maths and what's possible. So, you know, even with the Sonobe units, at some point someone, I reckon, would have discovered it, and it's just who happens to find it. Thank you, Eric. I love mine. I call it the Goliath because it felt like that. Also, at a time I was feeling a bit down and it cheered me up. So I brought that in, and I'm going to bring that up to the other top. I've actually tried to do more ambitious things when I've just been feeling a bit fed up. And I also learned the the beautiful Kawasaki Rose. I think possibly 42 steps, although it's not really. It's just that there's 4 sides to every piece, and I decided to memorize that. I don't know if I still remember, actually. I used to practice it all the time, that little tongue, and I gave that as a project. It was actually after the referendum. It was just a bit annoying, so obviously we all have our different feelings with that, but just the division of it all. So I found it very positive to make flowers to give to anybody in that corner and pushing it up under there. So yeah, if there are times when things can seem a bit much, then I recommend setting yourself a more ambitious project, or to memorize something is a really good thing to do. So you'll have to really work at it that way. Okay, I've got another, looks like a little baklava. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, you could certainly get making huge things. So particularly the Bichetta Star, you'd be able to easily do a 270. I don't know what the next one would be. Maybe like 3 hexagons between each of those pentagons. I don't know how many you'd need though. But that's great. Oh, it's great that you're supporting others, Melvin, in your work. That's right. Closing that in. And I think anyone caring for others needs to make sure they look after themselves too. That corner up to there. There we go. Yeah, so I will be giving myself a break. I don't quite know in what form. As I said, sometimes plans just fall away in these times. An effort to keep others safe. Opening up that flap. The way I also love doing is writing lots of poems. So I'm always writing poems as well. I find that's such a good way of processing how I feel. And run a little open mic poetry and music session. It's such a joy. We share whatever we want to, and the process of simply sharing, keeping an open mind, and just listening to each other. It's such a beautiful thing. It really is. It's not deliberately a therapeutic environment, but it is therapeutic. I think the action of being able to express how you feel. The thing is, you can always identify with each other, and sharing that will always make you feel good. Oh, wow. Yeah, impressive. It's one of those things, Heikki, that I can completely get that it would be such a good thing to do. I mean, in a strange way, the poems, I absolutely do not always rhyme whatsoever, but actually it's quite fun when you decide, I am going to have some rhyming in there, because it's the limitation that makes it very creative. Heikki is very restricted, isn't it? But in many ways, that's what allows you to be creative. That folding it in. Whereas the poems, I just love to go freestyle, and I just don't know where I'm going to go, and it somehow always touches something really, really deep. I always learn something about myself that way. I think most of all, they're meant to be performed poems, actually. They're meant to be read out loud. Well, they are for me. It was hearing people reading their poems that really made me go, oh, I'd like to write one too. In a poetry book, just often has left me cold. Little flap, maybe because you don't quite know where it comes from, whereas it comes from the person. Oh, it's probably the same with art generally, isn't it? When you come to know a bit more about the person, it just adds the richness of that expression. That's it, tucking that in, and then taking this corner, pushing it under. Hope you're following all this. Do you have any published or in a blog? Oh, what, my poems? Yeah. That's a good point. I have actually mostly shared, because occasionally I've attempted on social media, and it's funny, people never react actually. So I've ended up not really bothering so much that way. I think because they're not that short. I mean, they're not really long poems, but even so, it's not just a soundbite. They've got more to it. I've actually done some recordings for my local BBC Radio Oxfordshire, and they have a programme which will be the same for BBC across the UK. The regional radio, I think they have a programme called Upload, where anyone can upload. It could be music, could be songs, it could be poems, could be creative writing, and you can upload it, and if they like it, then they'll play it. So I think I've had like 23 poems on the radio, so that's been really nice over this time. I've been described as their poet in residence, so I have many different aspects to myself. Other people would know me as a scientist, or yeah, I'm a little bit unusual. Oh, understanding communication from others probably helped me release my brain. True, we're very social, and I think artwork is, and it's communication to ourselves. But I think we do always want to share things as well. Yeah, I have been told you're either amazing or you should realise not to do so many things. Yeah, I do lots of things. That's me. I don't do that to impress or whatever for others. I just do it because I enjoy that. Why shouldn't you? I think naturally as children we've done many things, and I just sort of keep all these things up. But I think, oh, thank you, Marnie. Yeah. So it would be nice, wouldn't it, to share them as, I think maybe in my on my videos, very, very low down, it would be like one of the first things I think I did record myself reading a poem. That was quite early in the pandemic, actually. And also, actually, somewhere you'll find, if you look through the videos, Marnie, there's also one which is with a good friend of mine who's in Santa Barbara. So we're across the world, and we decided to write a poem together. Just we'd time it that we went out on a walk at the same time. So for my friend, it was the morning, and for myself, it was the afternoon. And we decided we're going to walk together at the same time and just write as we walk along, and then put the poems together and then read it. So we decided how to split it, which was just very much instinctive, just doing it. And so we're reading it through Zoom, a little section from me, a little section from her. And it's this kind of conversation, this thought of the world turning in between. You'll see that I think it's something like 9 a.m, 3 p.m. or something like that. Have a look. You'll find that, and that's probably the more of a showing of the sort of things that we do on our open mic little creative evening, which is once a week, which has kept me slightly sane. It's really, I found that really helpful. I think connecting with others, but they're people I've known in person, which has really helped. But it's lovely because I'm able to, for example, include my friend Emily, which you'll see on there, who is an amazing writer, and to be able to keep in contact and to share actually the stuff that matters to us is brilliant. And it's so easy now. It's become something we will do through Zoom or whatever, whatever video like that. Tucking it under. Yeah, so that's probably a good one. I think that was maybe coming up towards, it was either the end of the year or start of the year. Yeah, maybe next time I could bring along a poem. Maybe I could even read one out. Would you like to hear one? I could look one up. I might. Oh yeah, why not? Sorry, if you don't mind. Completely going off topic. I can read you a very short one which I just wrote very, very recently on rhyming, actually, which was reflecting on the constraints. I'm going to read just a quick poem and then we'll continue. Okay, here goes. It's called Rhyme. You don't have to rhyme, but if you put in the time, it can be fun. With words to run like a pattern, a tune. Rhythms that emerge, splurge, submerge. In finding ways to speak, things can feel less bleak. Finding patterns in words, leave pages like birds. In constraint, we find meaning. Words flow convening. To find ways to say, in ways that bring play, really can make my day. With a bit of rhyme, create your very own sublime. There you go. That was a short poem and quite a fun, playful one. But on why I enjoy like the haiku, that constraint. So your pieces, the poem interlude, there are plenty more. I've written maybe 2 or 3 a week just since March 2020. Right. So as it is, we're going to push this up. Oh, thanks, Eric. It allows me to learn a lot, actually. It's very strange. I find I can say all sorts of things that I really wouldn't have thought about otherwise. Oh, Yeah, that's true. Patterns and birds. Yeah, it's true. That's a really good point. I've written a few about origami as well, about pattern. So this top down to the bottom. But you're right, the birds leaving, the page. Words like birds leaving a page. You're right, it's very much origami. And the other side. So where it's smooth, taking that corner down to the other. But a few people have described poems as being a bit like magic spells. I quite like that. Or that there is that musical quality to them. So I think it is the sound. It's a sort of a feeling. And I think it's the joy of just using the communication, that it is being playful and finding those ways to express yourself and things that you didn't. I almost don't think it just comes out of a very different area of my brain. So hopefully you've got something like this. The important bit is it needs 2 little pockets in the middle. And if it hasn't got 2 pockets, because you've forgotten to tuck under the tongue, so you'll need to go back a step. So I've done 1. I'm going to keep going. So pushing that over. Looks like rabbit ears. Top corner down to the bottom. I usually come up with things like that because I found that helps patients remember, but it's also for my own sense of remembering. Oh, that's right, corner to corner. And then to the back, corner to corner. One of my friends in the group says he would like to read out that poem to his works in the school, to primary school. I thought that would inspire the kids. Oh, fantastic. Really well then. Oh, brilliant. Well, if ever you want to, if she wants to join in, come and be a guest at our open mic. It's very small. Poetry music, she's very welcome. So Karen, so it should look like this. So this is the kind of baklava side. It looks like the tasty pastry. And I'm just folding up, no extra lines. And this side is smooth. I know it's got writing on pictures, but never mind. We take the bottom corner and bring it down. So I guess that's a valley fold. I don't know. I tend not to think in these terms. I'm just bringing that top down to the bottom, turning it round down to there. Gets a, it's funny. My brain goes, oh, what does that mean? Gets a mountain, valley, mountain fold. I don't know, Karen. Folds alternate with pockets inside. Yeah, so it's kind of zigzaggy. I think it was a zigzag. Goes up and down, up and down. And then hopefully you've got 2 little pockets there and there. That's it. Right, next one. Or maybe you could use things like receipts, or I don't know, something that would go in the bin otherwise. I think something like that's great. Thank you, Penny, for rescuing me. I get in a twist. Even that terminology. Crazy. I just think of it, I think, visually. So we get that corner down to the opposite. I was asked, which was wonderful, to create a film to encourage young people with visual impairments to fold, and of course to know that there's quite a few origamis to be visually impaired. It's all about the structure and the feel, but to do that you need to describe it really well. I found it so hard to do. It really hurt my brain. I don't naturally put things into words. So it's funny because the poems I really enjoy, which is entirely playing with words, so I can't be that lacking words. But I think things like this, I just enter into a sort of a visual state. Let's move to the corner, which is what I find really relaxing. Dip the points in different. Oh, that's a great idea, Eric. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I can imagine it, or just doing some different shadings across these. That was a brilliant idea. I might unpick this afterwards and then do a little bit of shading. And yeah, very nice idea. There we go. No, don't use a book for origami. I agree with you, Karen. It was an amazing idea, but definitely don't do it. Oh, I do think there's something. Yeah, actually, there's quite a bit of book folding. It makes me feel quite uncomfortable because it's precious, a book. A book's to be read, and really, unless you really were destroying, it feels unfair to destroy something like that. Yeah, exactly. Well, Kara, it was just you were allowed to entertain anything in your mind as long as you don't do it. It's just a crime, isn't it? If you mess up a book, yeah. But there's quite a few people who fold books, like just please don't do it. I know, and that's the reality, isn't it? Yeah, do people use it? Still should be a precious thing, a book. It's up to you. Just don't tell us. We'll be like, no, what have you done? Opening it up. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Really? You can't donate? Well, if you really can't, then you've tried your best then, haven't you? Really can't donate? Oh. Karen, you're a free woman to do as you wish. It's just that symbolism, I think. So, done 6, and just to show you the principle for any of you who hasn't done this before, some of you this may be new, how to plug it together, which actually isn't obvious. First of all, I remember first time trying to do this, and I really didn't realise which way. So this will match up with this. So I'm going to take a corner and slide in. Yeah, maybe there's too many encyclopedias out there. I'm taking a corner and sliding it in, and you're starting to form a nice little triangle. And that triangle really is the basis for all the building. But to make it stable, everything needs to interlock into each other. Maybe this writing now is looking a little confusing. But again, sliding one into the other. And then, it's always a tricky one, is you need to then interlock it all so that that bit that was underneath I brought out, and I need to slide it in, and you're probably going to have to slightly curve it around. I always think with something like the modular, however much I try to show you, it's only in your own hands that you'll get the idea of it. But this really is the basis for the building, and it's a lovely structure, isn't it? Really nice. So actually, this is, you can see it's becoming a cube already. So I find for the building, for myself, and we all work in different ways, I have in mind what it is I'm trying to build. Now I can see it's becoming a cube. I will make sure that it tucks together in that cube shape. But and the cube is effectively a 3 on each corner. Whereas the next one up, which would be 12, is kind of 4 on each corner. Oh, really? Because it was saying, oh, what a shame. See, okay, well, then maybe it should all be turned into origami paper. It's not a waste, Karen. You're right. Oh, what a shame. That is tragic. I guess people just generally will be using books less, won't they? So I'm just thinking of the cube, really, and that's how it builds itself. One has to tuck into the next little pocket, and it's only in your hands it will make any kind of sense. As I said, I found diagrams for this quite difficult, but if you get the idea of what it is you're making, then it will start to come together. Like as soon as I see a pocket, then push that in. Swirl all this round. And it is pretty robust. Very relaxing. There we go. So basically you're looking for no loose ends anywhere. Every time you see a pocket, one of these, but you do have to think of the shape that you're making. In this case, I'm making a cube. There we go. Like so. And now I've just got one more to do, which will close it up. I don't know how it's going for you. I hope it's, each time there's a little flap in there, bring the flap out. And it should be able to tuck into another one. A diagram of origami folded into a piece of origami. Wow. Slightly mind-blowing, isn't it? That one into that one. And I've just got one more. go. Rather nice. But maybe nicer if you have like different colours or different. I don't know. Quite interesting. So little bits of diagram there as well. Yay. Fantastic. Oh, thank you, Sega. Explain repeating. Excellent. Yeah, and I think it's all about patience, actually. It's not about the end thing that you make. It's about enjoying that process. But I think for teaching and for learning, it does involve that going slowly, being encouraging, showing again. Because when you're learning something, it's hard. Yeah, welcome, Sega. Are you in India or in Pakistan or Bangladesh? Or here in the UK, we have people from all over the world joining us, so it's really nice. Can't make sense of which goes into which without different colour paper. That's true. No, I don't think you'll follow it from mine. It's the principle of one tucked into the other. No, I agree. You can't tell without the different colours. Hello, Junid. Oh, lovely to have you here. Yeah. No, don't be sorry, Penny. It looks mind-boggling, doesn't it? Because I've used the same kind of paper on each side. But it has come together as a cube. And I have made a video where I've kept it plainer, actually. I think there actually I use kind of cream paper and white paper, so it's subtly different. You're welcome, Stephen. You must have done this so many times. But yeah, you can't. It is strong, actually. It is strong. Maybe you could, experiment. So I hope something has started for you. I think this is more of a getting it going on a project and give that little unit. As I said, you can start mutating it and seeing what emerges. There'll obviously be lots of stuff online too. I mean, I've really learned through people sharing on YouTube. I think obviously a lot of people do that way. And some people learn, obviously wonderful if you can learn from books. And it's just whatever works for you. Most of all, it's about how it makes you feel. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I will keep you, I haven't made one for a while. I will keep you posted about next week. I just don't know what I'm doing at the moment. So maybe if I just keep a little note up there. India, oh, welcome, Sekar. Yeah, and Junid's in India as well. So I hope you and your families are keeping well. So been very sad to see the virus having such an impact in India. Thinking of you there, I had almost a year in India as a child, so very informative year when I was 8. So I often think a lot about India. I think it really inspired me with the art. People are so much colour and artwork around, and people are so curious, and I think a lot more willing to chat to people than here in the UK. So you had a good impact on me, India. Anyway, look after yourselves, everyone, and I'll keep you posted about next week. And I will definitely be taking some breaks over the summer. I hope you can as well, and really look after yourselves. And hopefully that's a good project you can continue with when I'm not online as well. But take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.